When scientists hit a wall, human imagination takes over. A cold case in science occurs when a bizarre, observable phenomenon lacks the hard data required to explain it. Without that baseline data, a physical mystery quickly breeds decades of wild, supernatural, or extraterrestrial theories. Take the sailing stones of the racetrack playa in Death Valley. Here, massive boulders weighing up to 70 pounds sit at the end of long, nonlinear tracks, seemingly moving on their own. For nearly a century, nobody had ever actually seen them move. Or consider the 1977 WOW signal. Detected by the Ohio State University SETI project, this inexplicably strong radio transient looked exactly like an intentional broadcast, immediately becoming the most scrutinized candidate for a technosignature in history. Both of these mysteries went unexplained for decades. The problem wasn't a lack of effort. Investigators simply didn't possess the technological methods required to capture exactly what was happening at the moment of action. An anomaly is really just a mechanical reality trapped in a before state. Once you apply the right modern data analysis to the problem, the specific natural engines driving the event finally become visible. The primary hurdle in Death Valley was a matter of timing. Researchers calculated that these stones are only in motion for a few minutes out of a million. Staring at the desert floor and waiting for movement is physically impossible for a human observer. In 2011, a research team decided to stop waiting passively and start actively tracking. They fitted 15 rocks with custom GPS units and set up a network of time-lapse cameras across the playa, leaving them to continuously log the environment. That constant mechanical surveillance caught the required environmental trigger. On breezy, sunny days following rare rainfall, the water on the playa freezes into thin, clear sheets of ice. As the morning sun melts this frozen layer, the ice breaks apart into floating panels. This is the ice shove process. A light breeze catches the ice panels, which then embed against the heavy rocks and propel them across the slick mud below. Solving this terrestrial anomaly required outlasting the waiting period. By deploying persistent, on-the-ground macroscopic data collection, scientists finally caught the mechanics in the act. Tracking physical rocks in a desert is one thing, but you cannot attach a GPS unit to an invisible radio wave from 40 years ago. Instead of placing cameras, a modern research team looked backward. They retrieved decades of unpublished archival observations from the original Ohio SETI project, utilizing computational data mining to filter out the noise and isolate the signal's properties. This animated map shows the revised celestial coordinates of the WOW signal. By re-evaluating the raw data, the researchers narrowed the signal's origin down to two specific adjacent fields in space, right ascension 19 hours 25 minutes and 19 hours 27 minutes. This location is both narrower and slightly displaced from the estimates made in the 1970s. The researchers also extracted new intensity findings. They measured a staggering peak flux density, a measurement of radio emission strength, exceeding 250 Janskis, hitting precisely at a frequency of 1420.726 MHz. That specific frequency implies a clear physical reality. The source of the emission had to be galactic, and it possessed a substantially higher radial velocity, meaning it was moving away or toward us much faster than anyone previously assumed. The archives contained a decisive pattern, two secondary detections from 1978, designated WOW2 and WOW3. These signals prove that small, cold clouds of neutral hydrogen gas naturally produce this exact type of intense, narrowband emission. Capturing the mechanics of an invisible spectral anomaly required looking backward. Computational filtration successfully isolated the physical baseline hidden right there in decades of archival data. Floating panels of ice in a California desert and cold hydrogen clouds in deep space operate through vastly different natural engines. Yet because we initially lacked the capability to observe them clearly, both were mistaken for magic or alien intervention. The application of highly specific modern data, whether through GPS coordinates or the archival mining of radio frequencies, strips away the paranormal theories. It reveals highly specific, observable astrophysical and geological environments. As our tools for observing both the physical ground and a spectral void continue to scale in precision, The universe is slowly running out of places to hide its ghosts. Solving a scientific legend doesn't ruin the mystery. It simply replaces a myth with a physical reality that is infinitely more fascinating.